Nothing's longer than that 7-second fade that I do on Build Me a Buttercup. Anyway, welcome to the Scary Over Us podcast. I'm very excited for today's show. We have a special one today. I'm calling this Wisconsin Badger Football Generations. And I got four guys joining me across three different Wisconsin coaching tenures, whole range of personalities. Aaron, what you doing there, buddy? And we got linebacker Aaron Norvell, 1992. Fullback Matt Bernstein, the Hebrew Hammer, who was there from '02 to '05. Jeff Cichy, you have a nickname. I'm not sure what it is exactly, but you were there from 13 to 16. And safety Colin Wilder, 2020 and 2021. They're under Paul Chris. Welcome aboard, gentlemen.
Young Buck played for Paul. That's awesome.
Three
Good stuff.
Come on, coach.
Yeah, three. No, I know that's just like I'm talking about like a nickname that he had maybe before that, like when he was playing before that wonderful, beautiful game in San Diego in 2015. There had to be something else going on there. Jack, is there a different nickname, or is that you want to go three-stack Jack?
Like just no. I mean, besides the one that was given to me there, it's everyone just calls me Jack or Sitch.
Works. Let's do it. Well, anyway.
Hey, listen, I just want to jump in. That I'll never forget that game. I was in a bar in Redondo Beach when you had those three sacks, and I was basically in the South Bay of LA with a bunch of cocky ass USC fans all around me, and I was talking mad trash. Big props to you. I probably told you that over the years, but that was incredible, dog.
Aaron, I believe you, and I don't know this for a fact, but there does have to be the three sacks closest in time to each other in NCAA history, right? I mean, I think it's pretty hard to beat that.
One series.
Awesome stuff, guys. Well, here's what we're going to do. Everyone, obviously, and by the way, if you're watching this program now, and I know you are, please like and subscribe. Adding people to the Scary Alvarez Army is always fun. But we're going to go into what has been a complicated, disappointing, quickie 2025 Wisconsin Badger campaign. I don't think anyone's having any fun with this, but I wanted to get different voices from different eras, some guys who, quote unquote, have seen some shit, have seen different coaches and different ways of doing things, and get some perspective on what is happening now to maybe make a little bit of sense of it, and then maybe look to the future a little bit as well to see what, if anything, we can do to change this. So I'm going to be bouncing around on these questions, but I'll get to everyone. I promise. No, everyone, you don't have to raise your hand or anything. It's gonna get there. But there's obviously a lot of uncertainty surrounding this team right now. In Fickle's third year, 2-6, 0-5 in the Big Ten, and obviously, as you all know, many fans are calling for Fickle to be fired, maybe even someone above him to be fired, which complicates everything. What are the 2025 Badgers missing that your Badger team had, besides obvious things like points and first downs? Bernie, why don't you start us off there?
Points and first downs are pretty good. I'll tell you, I think it's culture and identity. Like it doesn't matter if you're playing Scrappy's year or Collins, towards the end of, I guess, closer to where we are today, it was culture. It was Wisconsin dudes built the program, and you peppered in guys from out of state for positions you needed. You ran the football, and you dominated, and you were gritty. You were bad dudes on the field, right, Scrappy? You 5'10", dude, you were a bad dude on the field, right? And all four of us were.
Yeah.
And I think we're missing that. It comes down to a lot of other things, but I think we're not recruiting in state. We're not keeping linemen, and we've lost kind of like this physicality that we used to have.
Yeah,
Colin, you're obviously, everyone here was a physical player. I see you nodding along there, Colin. Does that gel with what you're seeing?
100%. I think from the past, and all these guys can correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like Wisconsin did a great job of building the program around a lot of former players. I mean, even when I was there, we had probably about 60 to 70% of the staff, they played at Wisconsin. So everything meant more from a day in, day out basis of how we do things. And even the coaches were emotionally invested in every rivalry game, how you handle yourself in the classroom, off the field, in the building, whatever it might be. That's definitely a missing piece. And when you have the transfer portal, you have NIL, all those things. Obviously, guys can be one and done and bounce out somewhere else. I mean, it's hard to build that. I know that that's a challenge, but I mean, talking about getting in-state guys, walk-ons are less and less popular now with the numbers of scholarships. I mean, that was a big piece too of building walk-ons from guys who love the program and wanted to be there for different reasons than just making money or even earning a scholarship. I mean, a lot of guys played for free and wanted to put their body on the line week in, week out. So there's a lot of different issues, but I mean, culture, like what's been said, culture is a big piece of it. And where it starts, I mean, it starts from the top down, but it's a different age and a different era where you have to build and be unique on how you can still keep that with the transfer portal and with guys who may not be as connected with the program.
Yeah, that's well said. And you mentioned more culture, and Jack, you are too. Eric, as sort of the quintessential early '90s culture guy, talk about the culture when you came in '92 and how that is different from the 2025 culture that you've seen kind of be on the sidelines and talking to people.
I knew Alvarez because my brother played for him at Iowa. I mean, God bless Don Morton. He's an okay guy, but he didn't give me a scholarship. I had to walk on and got a scholarship after my first semester. But I knew what kind of coaches that they were. I knew what they were going to build. And it was like, let's just talk about the very beginning, all right? Because they made not 2 days, but winter conditioning so tough. Their goal was to see who wants to be here and who doesn't. And they made it so tough on us, and they could see the weak links, and they forced people out quick. So right away, even though we didn't have, a tremendous pool of talent, he knew that he had a bunch of gritty guys that he could build on. And, we went 1-10 and then 2-6 and then 5-6. And then, I missed the Rose Bowl by 1 year, but that's kind of where it started. And then Colin mentioned something about culture. I mean, I love college football more than anything, you know what I mean? And I'm just saying right now, and I'm still going to watch it, but with this transfer portal and it's hard to to build a culture. I was at Wisconsin for 5 years, you know what I mean? And the relationships you build when you're transferring from school to school to school. I mean, where's your allegiance to your homies and your teammates and your people you go to school with? It's just like, what can I get and where can I get more? And I'm bouncing if I don't like the situation. It's a really messed up situation. I mean, I'm glad the players get paid now. I wish I could have, but it's just, I don't know how you build that culture with the way that people are bouncing around now. Sorry, I kind of went off on a tangent there.
No, Aaron, that's well said. And it does raise a couple things I'm going to bring up in a second. And I'm going to bounce back to that in a minute, talking about Fickle and why some of the things he has to do, in fairness to him, are a little bit harder, maybe more than a little bit than what other coaches have had to do. Jack, as far as you had a transition from two very different coaching styles. Obviously, you started under Gary Anderson, and then you went on and saw the first 2 years under Christ. What was that transition? 3 years under Christ. What was that transition like? And I mean, as far as culture and things like that.
It's a little bit like Aaron was saying, where when Paul first got in, we had extremely tough winter conditioning, extremely tough spring ball, trying to weed it out. But we only really had 2 years of Anderson, so in large part, I got a lot of the Bielema culture. I got all those guys who were vets, the Kyle Costigans, the Rob Havensteins, Melvin, James White. Like, we had a lot of Chris Borland. Like, I could go on. We had a culture that was kind of already instilled. So we got to absorb more of that Bielema culture. And then, because we had a lot of success with Gary before he left. I mean, we had, but so that was still kind of intact. Paul just kind of cranked it up with the Anderson recruits, honestly, and was like, who do you want out? Because a lot of the guys were still Bielema recruits, that even in my class. I was an Anderson guy, but so, like, we were able to learn a lot from Anderson as well. But then, like Aaron said, Paul came in, turned up the heat, and you got a conglomerate of guys that turned out to really love football and love playing it together. But again, like Aaron said, it's so much harder to build cultures now. It's near impossible because of the jumping around. And you, like I said, I had a tweet about it. My best friends were the guys I spent all 5 years with, and like grinded and went through adversity and won with. And it sucks that more in large part, a lot of people in college football aren't experiencing that anymore.
I just want to say something about best friends. I haven't met the kid from Texas. Jack, I think I met you 1 or 2 times. Bernstein, I met you. Badger Brothers, I don't care what generation it is. I saw Bernstein 2 weeks ago. I put my arm around him. It's just I try to tell people it's a brotherhood that you can't explain. I mean, I'm sure every school's like that as far as playing college football, but the relationships you meet and the brotherhood, and it doesn't matter if you met somebody, if you played football at Wisconsin, it's like, we're brothers, man. And I'm honored to be on with all 4 of you guys. And thanks for having me on, Scary. Sorry to interrupt.
No, it's great. And I'm just listening to you now and knowing you the way I do. Just having you as a senior in that linebacker room with Catalano and Posa, I just think that'd be kind of a fun dynamic there, as far as you being the sort of the elder statesman of the group. But yeah, that's all well said, guys. And so I'm going to transition to Fickle right now, because obviously, it's depending on who you talk to, it's the beginning and end of the problem. But although I have been clear about the fact that I think Wisconsin would be better served by moving on from Fickle at this point, and it's not all his fault. I do think that there's still a situation, as we saw last week with the letter from the athletic director. We're not 100% sure who's going to be the coach next year, depending on who you talk to. What, if anything, knowing what you know now, besides an influx of $200 million, it's not going to be coming in, what can Luke Fickle do if he is the coach next season for the Wisconsin Badgers to change the culture and do all those things that simply are missing this year and have a more successful season? I'm going to start with you, Colin.
I think, first of all, let's take away Squat Fest. Let's take that away. Let's take all the media away, all the push-ups on the points we gave up. Let's stop trying to be flashy, and let's get back to what Wisconsin is, the roots and the deep foundation of how Wisconsin's been built. But I think you can't have the same approach than what you've had the last 3 years that you think you're going to come in and change this program with the way you've done it. You got to look in the mirror. You got to get on the board, and you got to figure out what are unique ways to get back on track. And honestly, I mean, it takes a lot of humility to do that. But also, I mean, your job's on the line. And if he does come back, you got to figure out a way to have the right resources and the right support. And I think a lot of that too is with alumni support. I mean, y'all can speak on it too, maybe on different experiences, but it's been pretty consistent that it's very minimal alumni support from what he's portrayed and how he's built relationships from there. And if you have alumni support, that's a big chunk of it, of getting guys to believe in what he's doing. And right now, if he doesn't have those relationships and he's not successful, then like, what can we even say about him that makes us want to believe in him? So I think there's a lot of things he kind of has to go back and kind of just rebuild a little bit from what he started with. But, it's a challenge now. He kind of dug himself into a hole with a lot of things. And, and like, it's not all his fault. Like, players got to play better. I mean, some better decisions need to be made. But, I mean, you need to go back and have some humility and try to do something a little bit different than what you've been doing the last 3 years.
I agree with that. And I think that's a big lesson that he's learned. At the same time, this is a coach who has not so far, nor will he ever, no matter what happens with him at Wisconsin, benefit from having guys that have been in the same room for 5 years. It's just never. It's because of the era. So he's not going to have that. So there is. And it sounds like I'm cutting him slack here. That's not my intention. I'm just trying to properly orient the expectations for any coach in this situation. Obviously, there have been many new coaches who've been more successful, who have found the culture, like Cignetti and some of these other guys that he's not done. So this is not giving him a pass. But Bernie, what is your, along with what Colin said, what are your thoughts kind of based on your own experience at Wisconsin and what you're seeing in this locker room?
So Colin, you speak like a well-educated human being, like you went to the best university in the land. But I agree with everything you said, right? And I won't jump on that, but I think if he takes a look, he has been super successful recruiting out of state, which to me is great, but it doesn't do any. That's the Ohio State model. It's not the Wisconsin model. I want him to recruit hard in state. We're losing the top 3 or 4 linemen from Wisconsin are going to Indiana and some other schools, right? Notre Dame, like they always leave. We were getting Joe Thomas, right? We're getting those guys. They build your culture. We're all saying, Jack, everyone's been saying, you can't build a team on the NIL and the transfer portal. So stop going back to it. We keep going. We have 30 guys coming in. If you ask, I talked to, oh my God, I'm blanking on his name. He's the only wide receiver who's been there for 5 years. Somebody help me.
Vinny
Anthony.
I'm like, Vinny, what's it like? He's like, dude, it's just normal now. But that sounds like I feel bad for these guys to have like this kind of crazy in and out situation. You're never friends with these guys. You just hang out with them a little bit. It's such a business. It's like the NFL, which I was there for 1 second. I didn't hang out with those guys for the 2 seconds I was there. So like I wanted to go back to getting the Wisconsin guys, stay in state, go out of state to get pepper in some of these dudes. Stop going to the transfer. Play your freshmen. Build it from the freshman up. Let them go in and fail. Let them play 4 years because you let them play in the beginning and see what you got at the end of a couple years. But if you're going to do what you're going to do and go get 20 more guys and have 20 guys leave, we're going to be in the same situation next year.
If I can build on what Bernie's saying. So Wisconsin never had success because we followed the status quo. And a lot of people think nowadays that because the top 10% of universities have the NIL success or have the transfer portal success, and they're equipped to be able to reload like they do, that everyone else has to. Listen, you can supplement, but all I know is I saw that Iowa defense on Saturday, and they were playing like their hair was on fire. Not to say our guys weren't, but don't tell me that because the new status quo is NIL transfer portal is you have to do everything by the new way. Listen, the new way is only truly going to work for 10% of people or 10% of teams because they're the ones that are going to consistently stay in the top. And it's going to be the top half of the Big Ten always and the top half of the SEC. And everyone else is going to be jumping. But listen, at the end of this year, a team like Iowa that has been able to more or less retain their culture will be able to, I think they'll probably end up ranked. Who knows what like the end of the year is going to look like. But just because that everyone thinks that this is the new blueprint to succeed and that's how it has to be, Wisconsin never followed the original blueprint to begin with. So we don't necessarily have to rest our hat on, well, we're to do it in this day and age. It's just, you have to be creative. You have to acquiesce and, you have to do it your own way. And you can't just be going back to that same well, like Bernie said.
Yeah, those are all really good points. Yeah. I'm sorry, go ahead, Aaron. Aaron, what are your thoughts?
Well, I just wanted to piggyback on what all of them said. And yes, build a wall around the state, tap into the high school talent, but let's not forget there's that big, bad, ugly friend of ours that is here to stay. I'm just telling you, NIL is the ugly stepchild that's in the room and it ain't going away. Luke Fickle, when he was at Cincinnati his last year, he had 5 guys go to the Senior Bowl. He can recruit, but recruiting is different now, guys. It's totally different. They don't give a crap about the union and the pretty girls and the education. They're like, how much are you going to give me? My brother got fired 2 weeks ago. He don't got money at Colorado State. He was talking to a coach at USC that used to work on his staff. He said the USC just offered a kid in 8th grade $6.8 million in 8th grade. So my point about that is Wisconsin's always been cheap. I mean, you know what I mean? It's just true. We've always been cheap. So we got people out there that got money. What about the lady from Epic? I live in Verona. There's got to be a creative way, and I don't got the answers. But I'm just saying, there's got to be a creative way to shake down some money. But here's the thing. You got to show them something. I like Luke, and I'm a big fan of coaches. I don't ever want a coach to lose his job. I wasn't a fan of my teammate Chris getting fired, and I don't want Luke to get fired. But there's got to be a point when you see him at a press conference have a heartbeat. Am I right, Burns? Am I right, Cincy? Am I right, Texas Colin? There's got to be a point where he's like, God damn it. We're not going to, whatever, any way he wants to do it. He's got a heartbeat. He's not going to take it no more. And we're going to go out there and bust some ass, out hit. You got to see that instead of the politicking and just You know what I mean? Being so, yeah, you guys know what I mean, though? You got to see some, like, this, it's life and death, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I'm feeling inspired right now. I might go walk on next year. But yeah, I'm a bit of a punter. I got a pretty good leg. I'm a soccer guy. But yeah, that's well said, Aaron. I mean, I'm feeling inspired right there. Maybe they can bring you into the situation. Well, let's kind of tilt this on its head. And I think that's all well said about the culture and also the realities of it. It's not just simply building a wall. There needs to be a money factor once you land these good Wisconsin guys, and I totally agree with that. By the way, I mean seeing these Badger linemen escape to Minnesota and things like that has just been sickening to watch. But if Luke Fickle is relieved of his duties and he goes on, hypothetically, are there any names out there that any of y'all kind of have on your Rolodex? Aaron knows what that is. I mean, I'm not sure if you know what a Rolodex is. You're a younger guy, but who you think would be a good culture fit, but also a talented coach. Jack, why don't you start us off?
Jeez Louise. I mean, I think there are probably a lot of people that could do it. I mean, the Iowa State guy is good.
Matt Campbell?
He's developed a culture. I'm skeptical about the Whitewater guy at Kansas. And otherwise, as much as I also I think sometimes changes need to be made. It's a question now of if you cut bait, then everyone can leave, and also, is the coaching pool that deep this year? And I mean, there's so many things to consider. And you kind of put me on the spot, Scary. But damn.
Oh, absolutely. It's like a class. It's like those classes you guys like global physical environments. It says 600 people in there, and you got to be sitting close to the smart guy.
We're in the phase of the experiment where it's just a catch-22 at all turns. So yeah, pass.
Jack, that's fair. I mean, it's a really difficult question. If there was an easy answer to that question, I wouldn't have to ask it. I mean, it is
no doubt.
It is tricky.
No doubt.
Bernie, what do you think, man? I know you do your own shows, and I'm going to pretend like I've not watched some of your opinions on this. But for those who don't want crossover to both of our shows, what do you think?
Listen, I'm with Scrappy. I don't want people to get fired, but I'm also on the side of this is a big business where there are millions, hundreds of millions on the line for what's going to happen. I'm going to Washington. How many people do you think will be in the stands? 40,000, 30,000? That's millions of dollars not going into pockets of restaurants, bars, parking lots, everywhere. So sadly, I think there needs to be a change. There's too much weird conversations, weird press conferences, weird things coming out in the news. We could talk about the quarterback situation. What the hell is going on? No one knows. It's just bizarre. Talk about have a heartbeat. There's been timeouts that haven't been called. I think we should have tried to kick a field goal at the end of the Iowa game to not put up a goose egg. There's just listen, those are all coaching opinions, but it's been bizarre. NIL's not going anywhere, so I get it. We're stuck in this world. But again, I think the product on the field could be better no matter what. I mean, these guys can do it. But so you get back to your point. I think Jason Eck from New Mexico, he was a GA when I was here. If you look at his Instagram, he's doing the things that you do now as a coach. His wife has a radio station. I don't know what it is for. Sorry, I didn't do that much research, but I'm assuming it's probably football. And if it is, even better. It's a family thing. They've been in Madison. They know it. He's going to bring Spence Nowitzki with him, who was a GA with us as well. These guys know Madison. I like Aaron Henry for maybe some defensive stuff. I like Sean Lewis on the offense. These guys, I know that, Colin, you played with almost all the coaches were Badgers. I don't think we need to go that heavy, but I think a good 60-40, 50-50 split, that brings culture back. That brings guys who know what it feels like to be in that room, play in that stadium. And then you bring outside blood in to make it fresh. I mean, that's just a thought. I mean, I think you get Jason Eck for cheap because he's coming from New Mexico, but maybe you don't. I don't know. He's on the slate for every coaching job in the nation as well. So
yeah,
that's where I'm going. Also, like what happens if we have another year like this? Yeah, it's going to be tough to rebuild. I mean, Jack brought it up, like we don't even know who's going to leave after this year. We don't know who's going to stay. You have Mason Posa said he's going to stay, but that doesn't mean that's true. But I'm hopeful. Like those guys look good. They look like Jack and his crew, and they're young.
Yeah, that's a real fun inside linebacking room. And you're right though, Bernie. I mean, Fickle staying or Fickle leaving could each have tremendous migration effects in terms of people leaving the program. And that's what's so creepy about it. Not creepy like in a Halloween way, but just it's kind of scary as far as what's going to happen. Colin and Aaron, you have any thoughts on this?
I'll be quick. Jay Norvell, because I love him, and I know he can coach. Then I'm going to go with someone on the East Coast, close to Bernie, the Hebrew Hammer. James Franklin, bring him in here. Let him have a revenge tour. I don't know if we could pay for him.
Jack, you said hard pass on that.
On James Franklin.
On Franklin, yeah.
No, James.
Well, I mean, let me make the counter argument to Franklin, even presuming the money would be there, and I don't think it is. We just brought an Ohio State / Cincinnati guy who's not a Wisconsin guy, and are we going to bring not that he's like a dyed-in-the-wool Pennsylvania guy, but like a Penn State guy who's been all over the place with no Wisconsin ties? I think he's a really good coach with a very high floor, but I don't know about that fit. I don't know. I mean, that's
yeah. If you want someone less arrogant, that's not the route to go.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean,
I was just spitballing.
It's Aaron.
I like your brother.
Hey, Jack, thanks for saying
drop on the Jay Norvell thing. It's like those romantic comedies when maybe the one you're looking for was there the whole time. You know what I mean? Like you just, I don't know. I mean,
for two guys who played, I would love more than anything for Jimmy to come back. I just know he's never going to come back, at least in this point in time.
When you say never, Bernie, you mean like never as long as the McIntosh regime is in there? Or do you mean never like
no, ever. As long as Chris McIntosh is the AD, I'm pretty sure. Listen, I think we all know this. Jimmy's not going to come back.
Yeah. And then since he mentioned Leopold was my GA when I was playing years ago. I think Lance would be a good fit. He's got some Wisconsin guys already on that staff there.
He's a nice coach. I just wonder. You want to see guys kind of shooting on all cylinders, and the reality is he's kind of stagnating a little bit at Kansas. I think it's fair to say. They're a 4-4 team in one of the not hardest conferences, and I like Leipold. He's a super good coach, and he's built programs. Some of the shine is off him right now. I think that's fair to say.
James White's coaching. I think we could steal him back from Illinois. I mean, there's a lot of options.
There'd be definitely an emphasis on the running game. I think that's fair to say with James. Any possibility Brett Bielema could come back? Just jump in. If I kind of time has healed old wounds for me, and I kind of like to cut his jib as far as how he's doing down there.
Then why would you think he would leave his current situation at Illinois? Come back.
No, I don't. I'm not making the case for him as to why he'd want to do it. I'm making the case more for why Wisconsin would want him back. You know what I mean? It's more of a wish list kind of thing. He's in a very stable situation right now and doing great. And yeah, if I'm him, I probably don't, unless maybe there's some old bars he liked a lot or something. I don't know. Maybe he's got some old sentimentality for State Street and Wando's. But yeah, that's a tough one. If there are any other names anyone wants to shout out, because I got a couple more questions. I'm gonna let you guys out of here pretty quick. I really appreciate your time. Let me ask you this. I'm going to name you the new Wisconsin Badger head coach, and by you I mean all four of you. And I'm going to go to you one-on-one on this. Starting with Aaron, what is the first thing you do after you're hired as the new Wisconsin head coach?
Well, kind of go back to, what Alvarez talks about a lot. I mean, I'm piggybacking off him, but is really get the state excited. Like how high school football coaches excited about Wisconsin, so you could kind of have those guys kind of not steer, because the kids in this family is going to make the decision, but have the coaches really into the program, open up your doors. I mean, I'd really embrace the state and make a statement saying, hey, I'm going to change it around, but really show show the people in the state and in Badger country and all the alums that you really mean it.
Love it, love it, Colin. You're a Texan, but you were here long enough, and once you're a part of the Madison thing, you're always a Madisonian. But what would be the first thing you do after you're hired as the head football coach at Wisconsin?
Yeah, piggybacking off Aaron there, the first thing I'm doing is calling all the alums, and I'm calling all the high school football coaches in Wisconsin, in the state of Wisconsin, building those bridges, building the relationships. I'm calling the Watt brothers. I'm calling Zach Bond. I'm calling all these guys, Jonathan Taylor, who are doing really, really well in the NFL, to gain their support and gain trust in them, build those relationships. Because when you have those guys come back, whether you got NIL problems or not, when you have those type of names coming back, being in the building, being involved, that makes a difference too in your recruiting, right? And then you got their support. Now you got the Wisconsin high school football coaches support, who are telling their kids, hey, this is a great place to go to. I know this head coach really well. You'd love to play for him. Those things matter. Those are the first things you got to do, is build those bridges, build those relationships.
It's great. And again, this is a small aside, but I'm probably reading too much into something. But like in the game last night with the Steelers and Packers, and when TJ and Benton both said their high schools instead of University of Wisconsin, this is probably just being on my toes about this. I was like, no, is this some sort of statement they're making? But you raised a good point. These are exactly the dudes you want behind your program, and I don't know what their feelings are on Luke Fickle. I can make guesses where they are there, but having the Watts in your back pocket, and whether it's financial or just going to events and stuff, I think that's exactly right, Colin and Aaron. It's the cultural thing that's so important. Jack, I know you probably believe the same thing Aaron and Colin said. Is there anything else you would do your first day as coach of Wisconsin to kind of get things back to what they should be?
You talk to the leaders, you talk to each position group leader, and feel out how their perception is of, if you're retaining a coach, if you brought a new coach in, you need to get with the guys and you need to first build that bond with them. Obviously you got to recruit, you got to extend some olive branches if there were things that happened, but you got to get with the guys. You got to get on the same page as your seniors, and you have to give them the tools and empower them to lead the team, because coaches can do a lot, but it's up to them. So much of coaching is explaining what you need to do to the player, whether that's on the field or not. And in that sense, you have to empower the leadership of your team, because then that's how your team's actually going to grow. And then you can build that trust so your players know that you got them and they got you, and vice versa. And that's where I would start.
The applause sound effect hit early, but I love that. So I can't afford a live audience, guys. The budget cuts. And Bernie, kind of play us out here. Obviously, I suspect you agree with a lot of what you just heard from the other gentlemen. But what else would you add if you were the new coach?
Listen, Jack, that was a great idea. I was not thinking that, but you got to recruit your own locker room day one. But I'm calling Jimmy Leonard, and I'm begging him to come back as my defensive guy. I'm calling everyone on this list here, and I'm saying, guys, come back and help me. Right, Jack, that's everyone has their own good opinions and ideas, and I think they'll help. I'm in the car, and I'm driving to Catholic Memorial. I'm driving to Arrowhead. I'm all over the coaches. I'm driving to Calhoun at Oak Creek. Like, I'm taking that state back, and I'm exactly what you're saying. I'm calling all the alumni saying, hey, can you text this kid and tell him we're going to do it? He's going to be part of this whole new turnaround. And I think something to what Aaron's saying, dude, I'm on the road. Not only I'm going to spend as much time with the kids as possible, but you got to go and you got to recruit donors. So I want to talk to those guys. I want to be in the room with them. I want to tell them, listen, we're going to get good quality human beings, maybe not the underworlds of the world, but we're going to get good guys that you'll be proud of. And I'm going to try to fundraise a little bit to get some money in the NIL so we can be successful and recruit the guys and also pay the dudes that deserve to be paid.
Love it.
I would get them excited though. The people with money. I know homies with money. They live out by you. They're not excited about giving money to the program right now. Somebody's got to get them excited.
Get started with the NIL entire team at UW. I won't go there, but let's just say any one of us on this could do a better job. You got to get homies excited. You're right.
That's a whole nother show, but yeah, the some statistic just came out. Wisconsin was actually hyping it that it now has university alumni have the most Fortune 500 CEOs of any college in the entire country. Apparently, they're not football fans. That's what I would say.
Yeah.
Awesome work, guys. Well, I'm going to let you all go. Thank you so much to Jack Collin, the Hebrew Hammer, and Aaron Norvell. Some incredible insight that I know people will appreciate. And keep the faith, guys. Keep the faith. We got this.
Thanks,
we can do it.
See you, fellas.